The United Kingdom is entering a crucial phase in its transition to electric mobility. Yet recent figures and surveys reveal that the rollout of charging infrastructure is not keeping pace with the rapid rise in electric vehicle (EV) ownership. This imbalance between growth in demand and available charging facilities is creating frustration among drivers, uncertainty for prospective buyers, and concern that government targets may be slipping out of reach. A nationwide survey of 1,000 EV owners found that 2 out of every 3 drivers had to queue for more than 10 minutes to use a public charger over the past year. The average wait time reported was 22 minutes, though some motorists described delays of up to 2 hours at motorway service stations during busy travel periods such as summer holidays. These delays are not only the result of insufficient charger numbers. EV owners reported additional problems, including petrol and diesel cars occupying designated charging bays and plug-in hybrid owners leaving their vehicles parked in charging spaces without actively charging. This has reduced availability at precisely the locations where demand is greatest. Almost 3/4 of those surveyed said they had witnessed charging bays blocked by cars not plugged in. In addition, nearly 2/3 reported that devices were often faulty or out of service, compounding frustrations and limiting driver confidence in the reliability of the network. The survey also showed that 4 in 5 EV drivers now plan long trips around the need to avoid charging en route. For many, this means selecting destinations within range of a single charge or planning travel carefully around known charging points. Consumer groups have emphasized that while drivers remain satisfied with the performance of their vehicles, the limited and sometimes unreliable charging infrastructure represents a significant barrier. For those still considering the switch to electric, half of non-EV owners said that poor public charging access was the single greatest factor discouraging them. Britain's climate strategy sets an ambitious goal. By the year 2030, the sale of new petrol and diesel cars will be banned. To achieve this, the government has committed to building a nationwide charging network capable of supporting millions of vehicles. Yet the pace of new installations is slowing. Between January and July of this year, just over 10,500 public chargers were added, averaging fewer than 50 per day. This is down from an average of 54 per day in the previous year. At present, the country has more than 84,000 public charging points. However, industry estimates suggest that reaching the government's target of 300,000 chargers by 2030 would require the installation of around 130 devices per day, far above the current pace. The shortfall has led to concerns that the country's electric vehicle transition could stall without significant policy intervention and investment. In July, ministers announced a new £63 million investment to strengthen the charging network. This includes £25 million to support innovative solutions for drivers without off-street parking, such as cross-pavement channels that allow charging cables to run safely across footpaths. The government has also confirmed new road signage to direct drivers to charging hubs along motorways and major roads. These initiatives are part of a broader £400 million package aimed at boosting charging capacity across the UK. Still, despite these announcements, the overall installation rate remains below the level needed to meet long-term objectives. Critics argue that while headline figures appear ambitious, delivery on the ground remains inconsistent. Beyond charging availability, cost remains a barrier for many drivers. EVs are often more expensive upfront than petrol or diesel vehicles. To encourage adoption, the government recently introduced an electric car grant worth up to £3,750. However, strict sustainability requirements tied to vehicle production emissions and energy sources have meant that no currently eligible models qualify for the full amount. Instead, most buyers are limited to a maximum saving of £1,500. The exclusion of many foreign-produced models, particularly those reliant on coal-powered energy sources, further restricts choice for consumers. Meanwhile, the introduction of annual road tax for EVs, set at £195, has added a new cost for existing owners, reducing one of the incentives that had previously encouraged adoption. These developments have become the subject of political debate. Opposition voices argue that government policies are inconsistent, sending mixed signals to consumers at a critical time. They warn that without a stronger commitment to infrastructure, potential buyers may delay switching, jeopardizing progress toward net zero goals. Government officials, however, insist that progress is being made. They highlight that nearly 20,000 public chargers were added in the past year and point to billions of pounds in long-term investment to support the EV transition. The current situation illustrates the central challenge of Britain's electric vehicle transition, aligning infrastructure growth with rising demand. Drivers are enthusiastic about the technology, but charging availability must keep pace to sustain confidence. If drivers are forced to plan journeys around limited access points, or wait long periods at busy locations, the promise of electric mobility loses much of its appeal. Similarly, if high purchase prices are not offset by meaningful support, EVs will remain out of reach for many households. The coming years will be decisive. To reach the target of 300,000 public chargers by 2030, installation rates will need to more than double. Achieving this will require cooperation between government, private operators, and local authorities. It will also require a more consistent strategy that prioritizes reliability and accessibility, not just numbers. The survey results and industry figures suggest that while progress has been made, confidence among drivers remains fragile. For Britain's EV transition to succeed, charging must become as straightforward as refueling. Until then, long queues, faulty devices, and limited support will continue to slow the country's journey toward a zero-emission future.